All right, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum, shalom. Welcome to the Doctor and the Radical program today. And we are talking about black male and female relationship today with our concentration on the black male. Last week we did a concentration on the black female. Today we're concentrating on the black male. We're going to look at certain examples. We're going to talk about what's wrong with it. And we're also going to talk about how do we fix it? Where is the black man? How can we fix the black man so that we can have a perfect family relationship? Peace and blessings to the Deacons of Reality. Deacon of Reality, peace and blessings, welcome. Twin Pyramid, peace and blessings, welcome. All right. And so we got with us on our panel today to close out this series. We got Sister Diamond that's here with us. Peace and blessings, Sister Diamond. You want to come in and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Diamond. That's about it.
And our other sister, Sister Cassie, she will be joining us later on into the program. Doc, you want to come on and introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, Dr. James Thomas Jones III, Captain Viola Jones's baby boy. Just happy to be here. More than pleased that we are doing this more than once a week now. My brother, I look forward to these building sessions, understanding that, conversation, action, is the only way that we're going to be able to uplift our people and do our little bit to move us towards liberation and freedom.
Exactly. Perfect. So I want to start out this conversation. And I know, Doc, you had gave us an example or definition about manhood, and your thing was surrounded by him being marriage material. You want to go ahead and give us that definition again?
Well, the idea of manhood and being a man, you've been created and ordained by God to be the head of your household, to be the leader of the race, not to be a tyrant though. And when we're talking about this idea of manhood and expressions of manhood within America, we have to focus upon the idea of the family structure being the building block for a great nation. And to have a stable family structure, we need to have, regardless of how you feel about the marriage certificate, things like that, we need to have stable homes and families to build and uplift stable, sane, productive Black children. And so when you begin to look at it and consider it from that viewpoint, and today that we're dealing with Black men, the husband, the houseman, the priest of the home is crucial to that equation. Without him, nothing else matters. So when we talk about the indispensable nature of Black men and the husband, the houseman, we need to also talk about the idea of the two primary roles that women are selecting or should be selecting men upon, and they are provider and protector. And so when we're dealing with a Black male population that has had some challenges in regards to 100% employment and productivity, we have a ways to go. yet at the exact same time of saying that we have a ways to go. I don't want to give the impression that the data that we have doesn't tell us that over 50% of Black males are gainfully employed without children and solidly in the middle class. And another significant large chunk of Black men are gainfully employed, married, and with children and raising their children. And I yield, brother.
Okay, thank you, Doc. Sister Diamond, what do you think about what Doc said? Is that what, as a woman, as a woman, what do you say a man is? What is his role? What would you say that?
Well, I think I spoke on that on the last episode, that I've always felt the man is supposed to be at the head of the household. A man should have a vision. A man should have a plan for that vision. That man should have a plan, period. Goals he's setting and the steps laid out in which to achieve those goals for the household. I believe a man should be a protector, should be a provider, and one that's capable of communication, because you are two different, you're male and female, so that a man that's able to understand the female and communicate with her effectively is what I think a man is. Protector, provider, lover, friend, respectful to this woman, and should put her first, I think.
All right, excellent. I want to welcome Mellow Cap to the program. Peace and blessings, Mellow Cap. Welcome. And so, and all of us on, and I want to ask our chat as well. What do you think a man is? If y'all can, throw y'all answers up here or call in. But I want to know from you all too, because Doc and Sister Diamond gave two parts of a man role: protector and provider. And the question that I have for you, and I think, Doc, you alleviated to it, but absent one part of that protector provider role, does that make you less of a man? And Sister Diamond, will go to you first. If as from a woman's perspective, if the man can't do both, be protector and provider, does that make him less of a man now because he's not able to do both?
It would make him less for me, because that's what I would need. As the video you played, the last episode, where the female, when the cop came to the door and she was yelling at her man and said, I mean, my goodness. I mean, I don't know what kind of man that was, but first, he should never have allowed her to go to the door. He should have handled the situation. So step in a man's shoes, that's what a man does. I'm not going to provide for a man, never have.
Okay, all right. And so, Doc, what would you say about that? You're on mute, Doc. We can't hear you.
Okay, I blinked out for a second as to what the question was. Could you repeat the question for me?
Yes. So both you and Sister Diamond said that a man's role, protector, provider. But if you can't do one of those roles, does that make you less of a man? Does that make you not a man at all because you can't hold up both portions?
No, I don't see it as making you less of a man, especially when you're talking about a historically marginalized population like Black men. Regardless of how you want to view Black men, if you're if 50% of your equation is hinging upon the idea of being a provider, you're putting black men in a very perilous state. Because let's be honest, in the wake of the civil rights movement, one of the grandest flaws that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's attempt at integration had is quite simply the absence of an economic component. So now you have a situation where black folk have integrated themselves out of economic leverage and power. So black men and black women, let's be clear, this isn't just black men. We need much more than just hard work to secure gainful employment, because by and large we are, even our educated class have to go to white America with their hat in hand and begging for employment. And if white America says quite simply no, what are you going to do? You're going to have to take that L. You have no other choice. So it's always different when you're black. It's always much difficult when you're black. And I think that that's something that we have to factor in, because black men becoming husbands often is going to be curtailed by systemic racism. Because if they can't secure significant gainful employment to not only take care of family, but also to one that offers benefits and what have you, it would be erroneous to say that they're lesser of a man, but it may be pinpoint accurate to say that they're not suitable to be husbands.
Mm. Wow. So then, Doc, you're making a distinction that a husband is greater than a regular man.
No, I'm not saying that a husband is greater than a regular man. I'm just pointing out that there are two different roles. That you have to be a man to be a husband, but if you are a man who maybe never found anyone that you wanted to marry, maybe you're a man who's a widower, maybe you've been married and you got divorced and you said to hell with it all, that doesn't make you lesser of a man, but it does significantly hamper what are traditional means of creating a legacy that will live beyond you. So they're just two different roles. All husbands are men, but not all men are husbands for a host of reasons. And one of the more frequently reoccurring reasons for that is quite simply some type of engagement with the criminal justice system, which is in many ways a death knell to black men who are not blessed with the entrepreneurial spirit. If they have to go and try and find gainful employment from a white employer or even a black employer, their chances are going to be lessened significantly.
Excellent, excellent. Now, Twin Pyramid said definitely a spiritual leader. A man is supposed to be a spiritual leader. Sister Diamond, would you agree with that? That the man, in order to be a man, he would have to be a spiritual leader?
Define spiritual and leading in that way.
Twin, if you can define spiritual and leader for Sister Diamond so she could answer the question, we would appreciate it.
I would like to add just a brief thing to what the doc was saying as far as the obstacles with employment or being employable or not being employed, period, because of the color of your skin. Then I would suggest to men to go find Black business owners. And if you don't have the skills of those businesses that may be present, then arm yourself with the education to become skilled. That's those are steps. Those are goals. And if a woman can see that you are working toward that, like in my case, I would not say, hey, you got to come with the bag, but you got to at least come with a game plan and be working on that game plan. So that's that on that, as I wanted to say. I would go reach out to Black business owners. I mean, why are you knocking on the white man's door when they know when you know how they feel about you anyway? That's just such.
That's a very good point, Sister Diamond. Very good point. So Twin has responded. He said, a man who leads his family based on his religious views. So that would be the spiritual leader.
Well, she said based on his religious views. So for me, we would have to be in sync with what God is. But, to me right now, I don't, there's so much dysfunction, so much corruption in all religious arenas. I just don't even want to touch none of them, period. So my thing as far as spiritual is a connection with God, period. And both discussing what they feel God's will is and God's purpose is for us, and discuss if we both, are on the same page with that. And then of course, opening the day with prayer, closing the night with prayer, all of those things.
Okay. So Sister Diamond, if I'm correct with what you're saying, that long as y'all are on the same page with that, you would submit and follow his leadership. That would be a key thing.
Of course.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Awesome. Doc, what do you say about that? And I know Twin said, isn't that what marriage is about? Is that what marriage about? To be the spiritual leader, to be the provider, protector. Is that what marriage about?
In many ways, marriage is about two individuals coming together and reflecting their God, the love that their God has for the world. And you have to, in every way, be dealing with a righteous man. If you have a woman who is submitting, that man must be a slave to his God. I don't care if we're talking about having faith in Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, Taoism, whatever your flavor is, you need to be a slave to that religion. Now, as a Christian, I can in many ways attest to the seriousness and the seriousness of the marriage covenant. And in many ways, what you're really talking about is assuming the position of Christ in regards to the church. The church was to obey Christ, but Christ also died for the church. So the idea, and only a foolish man and an unlearned man would take the position that he wants to be the head of household because he wants to be a quote unquote tyrant who runs his house with an iron fist. In actuality, he's taking on a position that could very well lead to, in the world we're living in right now, likely lead to damnation, hellfire. Because he's responsible for every individual within that household making it to glory, every soul. And we have this misunderstanding when we're talking about, and it's one of the most American things of all, when we're talking about the selection of a husband, we should make other things higher priorities than providing. And I'm not saying that providing isn't, well, I'll say it this way. I don't think that providing should have such an emphasis upon monetary solely providing. We should have more emphasis upon the spiritual, the religious, the providing of discipline, the providing of structure. But far too often, because we live in a capitalist nation and our people are capitalist, how many of our sisters are, get kind of ready to rock and roll in the bedroom at the insinuation that they will be, that a material good, a purse, a Birkin bag will be purchased and given to them if they go ahead and behave in a certain way. It's materialism run rampant. And when you have materialism run rampant, you're going to have flawed priorities, immoral behavior, and that's a hell of a group for a man, a righteous man, to be able to grasp control of, because these people's God is materialism, not a higher being. And I yield, brother.
Excellent, Doc. Excellent. And I want to welcome Melek to the program. Peace and blessings. Shalom, Melek. Welcome to the program. When we're dealing with the spiritual head, as the man is the spiritual head, and as you said, Doc, that only a fool would rush in to that type of position. Is it possible that you can take two people with different religious backgrounds and merge them into one? Do you think that would be possible, Doc? You on mute, Doc.
Still on mute?
Okay, now you're good.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
We have that old Christian saying that the family that prays together stays together. And there's a lot in there as far as insinuation about being equally yoked. We often hear that, but being equally yoked within the same faith. And I would like to say that we all agree in monotheism, that there's only one God. And if we are slaves or chained to him and trying to, as Christians would put it, trying to reflect Jesus Christ in everything that we do, that it really wouldn't, the modesty, the commitment really would not be akin to a strange language or tongue as far as the mixing of faiths go. However, that's not the world that we live in. And you have a situation where you have Christians, and I know Christian sisters, who would never seek to even date a Muslim man. And you have, I'm sure, the vice versa of that in regards to the mismatching of religious faiths. But it could be done, I guess, theoretically. I've never seen it really done successfully myself. And I think that there's a lot of societal socialization that goes into why those things never happen. And I yield, brother.
All right. Thank you, Doc. Sister Diamond, what say you about that? Can that be meshed together?
Me personally, it would depend on his belief, who he's believing in. And if I totally disagree with it, I can't work with it, because I feel that would be, placed upon me, or maybe I wouldn't be a good representative of him that may be expected. So no, not on my end. No.
Okay. Now, Sister Diamond, you said something that was very interesting. You said that you have to be a representation of him.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Yes. Can you just go explain why you feel that you are representation of your husband?
Because I'm his choice,
Mhm.
and you wouldn't want to reflect to others that he's made a bad choice, and that would depend on the man himself. So if you're looking for a righteous, God-fearing man who has codes of ethics, morals, and principles, then you don't
Mhm.
want to be an opposite of that. I don't want to be out here slutting around or giving anybody the impression that I'm
Mhm.
slutting around, making him look bad. I hope he wouldn't even choose that type anyway.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I would want to be a representative of him and making him look great, or um, I just want to be a representative. I want to be somebody that he can be proud of. You
Okay.
understand? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I want to welcome Earth Angel 1105 Remix. Shalom, peace, and blessings. Welcome to the program. Doc, Sister Diamond just talked about being the representation, of her husband. Um, is that something that women generally neglect? Is that something that the man generally neglects, that, hey, this woman represents me? Is that, lost in the sauce?
I believe it's lost in the sauce among the unrighteous, the
Mm,
unthinking, those who have no real understanding about the purpose of life and the meaning of life. Sister Diamond is absolutely correct that the woman and the children are going to be a reflection of that man. He's going to be evaluated based upon the behavior and the moral character of that woman. Let's be very clear. Let's go back to I'm from Ohio, from the Midwest. My roots are in Arkansas, Georgia, and Memphis, Tennessee. Every summer when we would go visit Memphis, Tennessee, that's where my mother's people are from.
mhm.
We had to look the part. So everybody had to go out and get new clothes. Everybody had to get new shoes, this, and that, and blah, 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 blah. We had to look the part for those because we were the ones that left the South and we needed to look like we were successful and prosperous. That is, in many ways, and this is kind of the rub when you begin to talk about the righteousness of men.
Mhm.
The fuel of men, of righteous men, is actually taking care of that woman and those children, to provide a way for them to make it materially, spiritually, and to see many, if not all, of their goals realized. It's not to go out and purchase a car. It's not found in how many women that you can bed down. It's found in your taking care of that woman that you selected.
Mm.
And the failure to do that, the failure to be able to handle that with a righteous woman, and I emphasize with a righteous woman, is shameful for a righteous man. And that's one of the reasons why it is so crucial that we choose correctly. Because once again, the American lexicon tells us you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. Okay. So regardless of what you do, there's some women who are going to simply be disagreeable to be agreeable with. And there are some men that, regardless of what a righteous woman does, who will never rise up to a position of honor and being able to take care of her and the children. So I agree wholeheartedly with what Sister Diamond said.
Okay. So, Doc, I'm going to ask both of you. But is it the man's job to nurture the woman?
It's the man's job to provide, to pave the way and provide the opportunity for the woman. I think that the use of the word nurture is something that is kind of tricky. I think that if we're really talking about manhood and a man's role,
Mhm.
um, he's out there tackling obstacles. He's the fullback for his family, who would be in this analogy tailbacks. He runs up to that line, and whatever obstacle is there, he's going to knock the hell out of it. It's not a glorious job, it's not a thankful job, but it's a necessary job for people to truly, truly succeed. So, yeah, it's his job to pave the path for an opportunity. Now, as far as nurturing, I think that one of the most nurturing things that a righteous man could do is provide stability, resources, and assuredness that regardless of what it is that you desire, as long as it's in line with our God, baby, you got it. And I'm gonna do everything in my power to make it happen, and not just by my brunt and brawn and physicality, but also by talking to our God to get the help and the aid of all those on the other side to help make whatever it is your dream is, your desire is, come to fruition. And I yield, brother.
Okay. Thank you, Doc. Sister Diamond, what say you? Is it the man's role to nurture the woman?
Can we look up nurture and get the full definition of it?
Sure.
I'm sorry, I don't have my phone.
Yeah, I have it right here. Nurture means to help someone or something grow, develop or succeed, or take care of someone or something that is growing or developing. For example, you might nurture a child or a garden. Um, So also says in psychology, nurture refers to external or environmental factors that affect human development, such as how someone is raised, the social economic status, early childhood experience, education, daily habits. The process of caring for and encouraging the growth and development of someone or something.
Well, in that regard, then yeah, that would fall in line with if well, say if a woman is trying to work on a flaw that she may feel that she has, or a behavior or something that she hasn't quite grown into, something that she's trying to, get rid of, but she's trying to grow into a better um, woman, let's say, depending, wants to grow into a better woman, then um, encouragement, because that's a part of nurturing, I feel, just encouragement.
Mhm.
Um, if it goes in the way of, if it's bettering herself or the family, like her going to school or
Mhm.
something of that nature,
Mhm.
then we know that just as the problems he faces as a Black man, she's going to face the same things as a Black woman.
Mhm.
So again, it's about both nurturing each other and both understanding where each person is trying to grow into, and just help in that way, and not put down or not, you know.
Mhm. So then, Sister Diamond, and I believe you're correct. Well, I know you're correct, but I've heard this saying a lot, and I want to ask you about it. That when you get married, you can't change your partner. Um, but as you just said, that both of them should be trying to grow and learn, right?
Mhm.
So if you're growing and you're learning, that equals change. So where does this perception comes from that there's no such thing as changing your partner?
I think it depends on exactly the character of the person themselves. You know what I mean? If you, Like, I'm not going to wait for a drug dealer to decide that, I want to grow into being a businessman, but I got to spend years with you, police raiding my house. No, I'm not going to wait for those kinds of growth and changes.
Mhm.
So it just depends. But I'm more simplistic, so it would have to be something simple, like I don't want to cuss no more. And
Yeah.
I know that's not in God's will, but darn it, I didn't said a curse word today. Something of that nature. But those deep um, characteristics that's gonna take some therapy and years of growing out of, I just don't have the time. I don't. So
Okay.
that's mine is simplistic. So yeah, simple things that's not going to take years and years to grow out of. Even though um, I myself, it took years and years. Wait, and I'm still, but it's my desire, and so each day I get better. You know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
because that's my desire to. But it just depends on the person's time, patience, and exactly what it is they're working with. You know,
Okay.
that's something because I don't want to be nobody's sponsor,
Mhm.
because you're out here on drugs and I got to, no,
Right.
certain
Exactly.
things. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Excellent. Doc, what say you about that?
Brother, I'm one of those who doesn't believe that people change. I just don't, except for being struck by lightning or seeing the four horsemen coming to get you. I really don't think that people change. I believe that what you get is what you get, and I believe that what you get, you got at birth.
Mhm.
So the concrete foundational things about either you're a truth teller or a liar, either you're going to be a hard worker or you're going to be lazy. Those are the things that are not necessarily going to change. However, there's still room for growth, which may seem like it's contradictory. I believe that God gives us choice and gives us an ability to focus ourselves to do certain things. Now, I don't believe that that tendency to be a liar, a thief, a cheater, or that compulsion to be square dealing, truthful, and honest ever goes away. But I believe that there are other things that, such as occupation, such as developing job skills and what have you, that will that can be changed, that can be dealt with. But I think that there's some foundational things that they're rock solid, and you'll never be able to make a liar something other than being a liar. Now he may tell the truth 97% of the time, but there's probably always an urge within him to tell a lie, just for kicks. And I
Mhm.
yield.
Okay. So we're going to look at our first situation we're going to look at today is Jamie Foxx. And I don't know if y'all are aware, but Jamie Foxx made a tweet and one of his friends saw it and she responded to it. And next thing you know, Jamie Foxx came out apologizing for the tweet. I saw it. I didn't see anything worthy for him to apologize about. But this bowing down, I want us to look at it and come back and talk and see whether or not what kind of man Jamie Foxx is. Um, so let's go and look at it. Okay, so Jamie Foxx issues an apology to the Jewish community after receiving backlash for a recent post about Jesus. Jamie says, I want to apologize to the Jewish community and everyone who was offended by my post. I know, stop it. Excuse me, this dog is a little bit too excited. I want to apologize to the Jewish community and everyone who was offended by my post. I know my choice of words have caused offense, and I'm sorry. That was never my intent. To clarify, I was betrayed by a fake friend, and that's what I meant with they. Not anything more. I only have love in my heart for everyone. Love and support the Jewish community. My deepest apologies to anyone who was offended. Nothing but love, always, Jamie Foxx. And this is the tweet that he posted. They killed this dude named Jesus. What do you think they'll do to you? Fake friends, fake love. Then his buddy, Aniston, Jennifer Aniston, I think that's her name. She says, this really makes me sick. I did not like this post on purpose or by accident. And more importantly, I want to be clear to my friends and anyone hurt by this showing up in their feeds. I do not support any form of anti-Semitism, and I truly don't tolerate hate of any kind, period. Okay, so Jennifer Aniston had a problem with the tweet, and she came out and said her thing about it and called it hate and called it anti-Semitism. And we saw Jamie Foxx take it down and clarify what he meant. So looking and understanding that men are providers, protectors, spiritual lead. Here we have Jamie Foxx, who's a very rich man, who's an entertainer. But he said something that was truthful and then had to rein it back in. Does this make Jamie Foxx less than a man? Or does this make Jamie Foxx a smart man? Sister Diamond, what say you?
Here we go. less, and so less. And I am so sick and tired of Black men apologizing. I've never seen nothing like it in my life. It makes me sick to my stomach. I want to know when Jennifer Aniston with her wrinkled hands gonna talk about we apologize to the Black community. When is any of these white people gonna say they apologize? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. So that's why, you know. And then I saw Dwayne Wade. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, except that none of these are examples of Black men. None of them. These are puppets. It's embarrassing as a Black woman. And wasn't he with a white woman anyway? So go on over there and stay on over there and just get on up out of here. I'm so sick of this social media. I don't know what to do. I don't.
Yeah, definitely.
And it sounds like, if I may, that you got a guilt complex, Jenny. Do you have a guilt complex? Because didn't y'all kill Jesus anyway, fool? You don't want us to say that, fool? Well.
You right on, sister. You right on. Doc, what say you?
About what?
About Jamie Foxx. Does that make him less of a man because he comes out and I apologize, this and I didn't mean it, all this foolishness?
Well, certainly. I mean, the truth of the matter is that one gets tired of, we used to call it two-facedness, but these brothers got multiple faces. And really what it is quite simply one of the most succinct and best displays of power. If you understand that power is the ability to make something behave in a way that is not in its best interest. He knows who he's dealing with, okay? And he knows the industry that he's in. And it's yet another sign that truly one is hard pressed to find any black folk with real power in this nation, because at any time their access to making money, they will Paul Robeson your ass, and Jamie Foxx knows that, and so he's stepped away from it to get out of the line of fire. And I can guarantee you that his agent, his handlers, everyone, he probably didn't even write that. They wrote that for him and told him, listen, you go sit your little black self down somewhere. Okay, take your meds, try to get your mind right, because we're going to try and sell this as if you missed a dosage of your meds and you went crazy. Because in many ways, there's nothing special about Jamie Foxx. There's really nothing special about anyone who is an actor or actress or even a writer in Hollywood. They're all replaceable. All. And step out again and see if we don't publicly, you talking about what they did to Jesus, they're going to flog you and crucify you out in public. And I'll just say this also, that I'm not sure why the modern day Jews are so upset about what was written, because it really has nothing to do with them. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Definitely. I don't like it either. I think it shows cowardice to apologize to them and back down to them. To hell with them personally. At some point, enough has to be enough. And I don't know how, with good conscience, a person can come before the world and kiss somebody else's feet and think it's going to be okay, that you're going to be looked at and respected as a man. It just doesn't work that way. Them bastards don't bow down to nobody. They don't bow down to nobody. They don't give a damn what they say. They not bowing down to nobody. I mean, when they made Michael Jackson go back in the recording studio and take out Jumi Doomy, I was like, God damn. And he did it. And Michael Jackson is one of the most popular people in the world. But they made him take his ass back up in there. So, there's no way that you can be respected when you so willingly go down and just, okay, I'm sorry, master, I'm sorry. That shit is over with. That time is up. And we're going to go and look at another video. Look at a video. This is our first video for today. And with this video, we're going to mainly be looking at the man, but something that Sister Cassie said last week, that she was like, well, if you're looking at the woman, you got to look at the man too. And so that kind of puts us right back there in that situation. I looked at the video, of course, before everybody, and I feel sorry for the girl. I didn't think the girl knew what the boy knew, but I felt sorry for her. I think in this case, she's the victim. But, y'all may see it differently. But let me go and share screen so we can check this out.
Like, why is you doing this to me? Yesterday you was just saying that you wanted to be with me. Now today I bring up I'm pregnant, you don't? That's what
cousins.
Okay.
We're cousins.
Okay, but it's your fault.
We're cousins.
It's your fault.
I'm having a baby with
It's your fault. You never told me it was related.
I'm not having.
You kept it from me.
We have a baby. I'm not having a baby with my cousin.
Bro, you are the reason why this happened. You nutted in You came to me. All you do is lie. And you never want to own up to the shit you do. Tell them how I caught you on the bed with a man 3 months ago. Like, why is you doing this to me? Yesterday you was just saying that you wanted to be with me. Now today I bring up I'm pregnant. You don't.
We're
That's what
cousins.
okay.
We're cousins.
Okay, but it's your fault.
We're cousins.
It's your
I'm
fault.
having a baby with
It's
my
your fault. You never told me it was related.
I'm not having
You kept it from me.
we have a baby. I'm not having a baby with my cousin.
Bro, you are the reason why this happened. You nutted in me. You came in me. All you do is lie. And you never want to own up to the shit you do. Tell them how I caught you on the bed with a man 3 months ago. Like, why was you doing this?
Okay, so there you have the whole picture of it. And one of the comments in here says that bro is a danger to the public, that he's a danger to the public. And another comment on here says, women can hardly stay focused in a conversation. Here, she is talking about being pregnant, and then out of the blue, she is talking about catch old boy in a bed with a man. What has that got to do with what they're supposedly talking about in the first place? Just curious. So not only do you have him having sex with his cousin, and he didn't tell her that they're cousins, but a few months ago, she caught him in the bed with another man. So, Doc, what say you? What is this? That, well, we got Sister Cassie back. All right. Peace and blessings, Sister Cassie. Welcome, welcome. Just in time. Just in time. Well,
Hi,
did you get
everybody.
to see
How's everybody doing?
Welcome,
Hi.
sister. Welcome.
Oh,
Did you get to
yes,
see the
very.
video?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I've been watching. I was out,
Okay.
but I've been watching. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's a good show.
Okay.
Good questions. Yes. Yes. Wow.
All right, all right. Okay, so Doc, how you see this?
How do I see what?
What we just watched.
I mean, I think that the best way that I can even sum up what I'm thinking is the absolute total fall of a moral compass within Black America, decency, respect for one another, even for oneself. It's all right there. Everything that we could imagine being a problem for our people, it's right there. You got the idea of, I don't know what you call it. I mean, is it incest? What is it? A cousin with another cousin producing a child? Then you have homosexuality. You have emotional strain. The fact that everybody in the video needs significant mental health issues. It's all there. There's not one single redeeming thing that one could find within him or within her. So I don't have a lot more that I can say about that other than that. It's frightening.
So who's the victim in here?
I would say that she's been victimized
Mm-hmm.
if she truly did not know.
Mm-hmm.
He is just quite simply a unrighteous person all around. If he knew that was his cousin and he engaged, willfully, consciously engaged in sexual intercourse that with no protection, that he knew would more than likely end up in a pregnancy. And then also the idea, I always say this about people. You don't find a person who is just flawed, seriously flawed in only one area of their life.
Mm-hmm.
If they're flawed in one area, you see flaws, maybe not in every area, but darn near every area. he is a liar, a cheater, a sneak, a snake, everything that one could imagine. You know, he is he's ironically, and this takes me back to the 1980s. This could be J.L. King's son. You know, the brother that came up with the wrote the book On the Down Low. Because here you have a man nobody else didn't know. Unfortunately, she knew and still let her hormones control her to the point where she opened herself up to a unwanted pregnancy. And brother, it's all there. That's Deacon of Reality is truly embarrassing. Yes, it is. And I don't even know them. And I'm embarrassed. And I yield, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Doc. Sister Diamond, what say you?
You said who's the victim?
Mm-hmm.
He would have been a victim if I would have caught him in the bed with another man. He would have been a dead victim, flat out. I don't play them kind of games. I know as far as it has to be either a mental health thing that you would sleep with a family member, and then in her case, when she said she didn't know and he did that, somebody would be taking him down for that. Why you continuing that? Why women continuing that? I see that present as well. Women engaging with homosexuals, like it's a cool thing. All this, when you say I'm slow on those things, because those things are foreign to me. So when I see it like this, it literally makes me sick. I don't have any answers. Maybe in her case, maybe she needs some help. But I mean, come on, you caught that man in the bed, then you find out he your cousin. That's double whammy, and that would get me some kind of way. Instead of sitting in your car talking about I'm pregnant and why you treat me like this, that would not be my response at all to any of this.
Mm-hmm. Sister Diamond, let me ask you really quick. Why do you think she accepts that from him?
Knowing someone of that situation more than once, I would say that I know things that happen, like molestation had been a factor in their life young. You said, why did she accept it?
Yes.
I don't know. I can't think of anything that, I don't know. I really don't know a child. I don't know if I was a child and had been abused or molested, what my mindset would be like. I know as a woman, a young woman, I've been raped twice, but that's never been anything that motivated me to say, okay, I'm just a slut. Let me just screw everybody and do all kind of crazy things. So I don't know how those things would steer someone that way if that was her case. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an answer because I don't understand the mindsets.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sister Diamond. Sister Cassie, what say you?
Wow, that's a lot right there. Ooh, Well, um, let's talk about him for a minute.
Mhm.
That's learned behavior. Okay. Evil communication, corrupt good manners. Being around somebody, and we can talk about his dad, his uncles, the males in his life. We can talk about that,
Mhm.
or the lack thereof. Um, but we've gotten to a place that I believe that if we had not integrated, we wouldn't be acting the way we act. I think that has a lot to do with it. And by us integrating, we have picked up some of their characteristics. Okay. Um,
Mhm.
when he said to learn not their ways, and when he told us to come from among, be separate, he meant that. Because when you
Mhm.
start interacting with people, you begin to learn how they act, and you begin to act the way you see them acting, or the way that you've seen, for instance, his dad treating his mom, his women, or the uncles treating
Mhm.
their women. Okay. And as far as she's concerned, that's low self esteem. That's daddy issues. That's feeling a lack of love. That's probably what she's seen from her mom. She's out playing some bad behaviors. Okay, some things that she saw from her mom, and the way the men in the mom's life have treated her mom. So a lot of this stuff, we're just repeating it. It's wash and repeat, rinse and repeat, same thing, because this
Mhm.
is something that she's seen. A lot of times we are the product of the environment, not even wanting to be, because I've heard young girls back in the day when I used to go into the prisons and I would do some teaching. A lot of them were products of where they came from, not even wanting to attract men like that, but that's what they saw. So that's what they began to attract to themselves.
Mm.
So that's what I
I
think
have
it
a
is.
question for anybody. So, what does it mean if a young girl or whatever may have the support, the love, and it's been proven this love, and they reject that and still want to engage in the type of behaviors that we see, whether
Well,
it
can I
comes.
answer that for a minute? Well, a lot
Mhm.
of times that's abuse. Okay. And a lot of times when you say that, if I think that I'm loving my daughter a certain way, but I'm loving her the way I need to be loved, because there's 5 love languages. And a lot of times I'm loving my children the way I want to be loved, which is not loving them the way they need to be loved. They might need service, they may need affirmation, but if I'm used to touch, then I'm going to love them the way I learned to love, because I don't know any other kind of way to love them. But if I'm understanding about the love language, there's 5 love languages. And you have to find out your husband's love language. You have to find out your children's love language. And you have to love them that way. So if I say, oh my God, I was giving my daughter all the love, but I wasn't giving her the gifts that's her love language, then to her, mommy doesn't love me. But you look at her and say, well, but I love you. I'm doing this, and this. And she's like, that's not enough. And then you look at her like, well, what is it? And she may not even understand the kind of love, but it's 5. So we have to find out the mates that we're with and our children. We have to love them a certain way. And if you're loving them that way and filling that tank every day, there is impossible for them not to feel that love. I rest
So
my mind.
I'm sorry. It's interesting. You said you said something about gifts. So I just thought immediately like a person's love language might be buying things, buying their
Yes.
friends, buying their men.
Yes.
So I'm supposed
No,
to.
it's buying it. It could be, for instance, it could be just buy it. For instance, my husband, his love language is gifts. I can go to the store and buy him a shirt. And oh my God, that's to him, that's love. That's his love language. But for me, mine is, sitting on the couch, watching a movie, holding hands, touchy feeling. That's my love language. But for me, I could get on the couch and hold his hand and think, if I don't know his love language, but I'm loving on him. But that's not his love language. So when I mean by gifts, it means just that you buying them gifts and that's their love language. Or affirmation could be a love language. Or touchy-feely. Somebody loves to touch. You know, my one daughter, she loves to hold hands. We can walk in the mall as long as I'm holding her hand. 2 grown women, that's her love language. And it's okay. That you have to find out your mates. And there's a book, 5 Love Languages. And I read that book up and down. And I mean, I did because I wanted my marriage and relationships to work. And I wanted my children to know that they were loved unconditionally. So that's why, you know, and that's, you know, a lot of people don't know those love languages, but that would be a good book if you are in a relationship to get.
So one of those, I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
So, all right, you know the love language, but if you are, let's just say you said you had children. So if you had a child that's being you to death, you know, and calling you out and just total disrespect, and maybe you took it for years because you knew of things they've been through, right? But at a certain point, you don't you cut that off and say, no, you know, you don't accept what I would consider that to be abuse from a child.
That is abuse. That's abuse, and it would never be tolerated. My thing is, I don't care what you went through. You're going to always respect me. And a lot of times parents, and I'm not, you know, I don't know the relationship, but a lot of times parents have gone through, they were, you know, earlier when the child was smaller, they were, you know, either on drugs or they, you know, was there, just not there for the child. So that child will put that parent through hell their whole life. And that parent will take it because they felt guilt because they weren't there for that child when that child was smaller. So now all throughout this adulthood, this child is being disrespectful, right? And the mom is taking it because she feels guilty. And I have friends like that. And I'm like, look, enough is enough. I can't stand it. Because my thing is, I'll apologize because nobody's perfect as a parent. And I'll tell you, I used to be hard on my girls and I had to apologize, but I was not going to tolerate them being disrespectful for one, because you lived, you're good. You know, you're getting the help you need. I'm just saying we have to forgive, but I do not condone you being disrespectful. I don't care what I did in the past. I'm apologizing for it, and you're gonna go get some help for it, and we're gonna, you know, move forward. You're gonna get the help you need, but you're not gonna keep disrespecting me. I apologize. I'm not gonna live in the past. I'm good now. I'm better now. You know what I'm saying? But I don't believe that a parent should still continue to allow that child to be disrespectful. No, I'm doing all I can now. You're going to look at now. You're going to go get some help. And I'm going to get some help too. So we're going to get some help together. And then we're going to build on that relationship and have a qualified, healthy relationship now.
But if you're not one of those parents that's been a drugs and hoeing around and set bad examples, and maybe another parent is responsible for the separation, but yet and still you the person that's boundaries and did your best to unify
boundaries,
but they give that person, you know, all the props. And I know that stop
boundaries. You have to have boundaries for that child. Boundaries, period. If he come around, he's disrespectful. Dude, I'm out. Seriously, he calls you, he's cussing you out. Hang up. This is what I need from you. If you cannot do this, we're not having this relationship because you still are not going to disrespect. I don't care. We grown now. So guess what? We're gonna talk it out. Like I said, we're gonna get some help. I may need to go counseling with you. You need to get some counseling. Whatever we're gonna do, we're gonna work that thing out. But you will never. I'm not gonna continuously allowing you to disrespect. We're gonna have boundaries. So when you call me and you disrespectful, I'm hanging up. So you're gonna understand that I can't talk to her like that. You are the parent. You're gonna always hold that parental space. You know what I'm saying? I'm never gonna be your equal. I'm gonna always be your parent. So you're hurting yourself if I allow my child to keep disrespecting me. Something gonna happen to that child because it's here. You honor your father and you honor your father and mother, right? So I'm not gonna allow them to hurt themselves because they trying to hurt me. I'm gonna hang up the phone until he learns how to talk to me, and we're gonna have that conversation, right? But then the next time he try to get out of pocket, I'm hanging up because we already talked about that, and I'm not tolerating that behavior. We don't have to have that type of relationship because you're not gonna call me if we can't be cordial. Boundaries, baby, boundaries. We're not doing that. We're not. I rest my mic.
Yes, ma'am. Awesome. All right. So the next question I want to ask y'all, because I think Doc, as you were saying, and Earth Angel agreed with you about most of us are born with our characteristics. So what we saw of this guy, is he redeemable? That's the first question for y'all to answer. Is he redeemable? Doc?
You know, I hate to consider someone being beyond redemption,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that there are some people who are beyond redemption. I don't have a large enough sample size
Mm-hmm.
of this young man to make a definitive declaratory statement,
Mm-hmm.
but I will say that there is no amount of work that he could do as far as being introspective that would save him. He needs a clinician to work with him. There are some situations and some moments where you, in and of yourself, you can't do anything with that, and unfortunately, that looks like one of those situations right there. And I yield.
All right. Sister Diamond, is he redeemable?
Again, I've seen people that has engaged in that,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, it just keeps getting worse and worse. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Sister Cassie?
I think if you want to be redeemed, if you're
Mhm.
ready, yes. But if you're not ready and you don't want it, you're wasting your time. And that person that's in a relationship with them, they're wasting their time, because that'll be something you'll always have to put up with. He's never going to be ready, because you're taking it and everybody around him is taking it, and
Mhm.
nobody's holding him accountable. Then he's going to continue to act like that. But if he wants help, really truly wants help, he can be redeemed, I believe. But you got to
Mhm.
want it, and it's work. And if you don't want to do the work, you have to do the work. Because sometimes we think, oh my God, I've been like this since forever. I grew up like this. You have to take me as I am. And no, we don't have to tolerate your bad behavior. I don't.
Mhm.
We don't have to tolerate you acting like a fool and cussing folk out. And no, we're going to hold you accountable. And if, like I said, I believe in counseling. I'm just saying, I believe wholeheartedly that every Black person, we need some counseling. I believe that even to maintain the marriage, or to deal with some childhood stuff, or maybe your kids, their dad was wacky dacky or whatever, and they saw that, then yes, I believe that our girls and our boys, I do believe that they need counseling. I believe that. And it may be maybe once a month, or it could be once every 2 months. But I believe that in Black folk, we have been in such a horrible relationship with America. We have to. It's mandatory. It's mandatory. I'm sorry, it's mandatory. We got some bad behaviors right now, and some people, they're willing to live with it. I'm not. If I see something in me that's going to stop me from growing, or stop me, my job or business or foundation or whatever, or just going to stop me from getting ahead, I'm going to deal with that thing. And hopefully Black people will go and get some counseling more often than not, because we need it. We grew up with so much dysfunction. So I'm just saying, I rest my mic, but I believe that there's an opportunity to be redeemed for him if he wants it. But if he does not, then you leave him over there and you keep moving.
Now, can I say something, add on to that?
Mhm.
Now, as far as the gay thing or anything, I don't think that's redeemable. I don't know what type of man will want his penis in another man. That's a whole ballpark over there. I don't want you. I'm not trying to redeem you. Get away from me, because we're gonna have problems if I find out anything. That's why I just can't. I'm too scared. You know what I mean? So no, that ain't redeemable. Just like a pedophile, there's no redeeming him. So certain things, when you go over there like that, that's something else. Now, a man that would actually sleep with their family and then don't even the girl didn't know, then he's abusing her in more ways than one. That can't be redeemable, because that's some sick stuff for you to even want to sleep with your family. And if it's the opposite, if you're a female wanting to sleep with your family, you got serious issues. So go over there and get it together. But I don't want no parts of you. Period. That's it. And I don't understand, like I said, the mindsets that I see. Maybe I was just riding my 10-speed past all that when I was growing up. But I ain't know nothing about that. Incest, uncles doing stuff with their family, all that kind of stuff. So I've been totally shocked when I came on here in 2015, besides my own that I've experienced within my, family. But to see it so prevalent out here is crazy to me. I don't understand. I just don't understand. Even down to the simple of feeling the way these men looking. I saw it. Where you get that from? Where is that coming from? Are y'all on some kind of drugs? Are they spiking y'all drinks? What's really happening? Because this is, like I said, prevalent, mass. And I don't understand.
Definitely. And one thing that I look at, because it is true, Sister Cassie and Earth Angel said, it depends on him. I when I look at our people and I diagnose their sickness, and I can see in his sickness that goes back to slavery, as Sister Cassie pointed out last week. You have, they would mate us, even with our own mamas. It didn't matter. Get in there, do what you got to do. So that goes back. They had the buck breaking farms. That goes back. So I can see that. And so with my mindset as Black First, the answer is, do I have enough knowledge to transform him to be an upright Black man? So I think he's redeemable. Getting him to accept his own and be himself. That would be the thing. Because he's a young man, so he's not set in a way yet.
Mm-hmm.
He's going with what feels good, what seems good, what looks good, So I believe that he can be redeemed.
Let me ask you a question with that, what you're saying with that. Let me ask you a question. I'm looking at that and I'm saying, okay, if he had positive male role models, would that help him? Because I think, like you said, it had something to do with the past and family members and, very negative family members, but he, probably was around early age. But I do believe that if he sees a positive man like yourself and Doc, they'll be like, oh man, I'm not supposed to act like that. I do believe that can also make him want to be redeemed. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree, because one thing that I do know of that, we all have to have an example of what manhood looks like. Absent of that example, we're taking what we see in the street, we're taking what we see on TV. Oh, that looks cool, and I'm gonna go out there and do it. So we need to have that example of what manhood looks like. We need to have that example of what strength looks like. What does proper relationship, what does that look like? We have to be able to ask the questions and get the proper answers. Ask, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? And that comes from an example. And I have to say for myself, if I didn't have Minister Farrakhan as an example of what manhood looks like, I would be probably looking at somebody on TV or seeing something out there in the street, and say, oh yeah, that looks cool. Because remember, as I was saying a few weeks ago, when I was growing up in high school, I had blonde hair with a shag, looking at Ric Flair as my goddamn example of what a man is. And my daddy in the same house, he didn't say, "Why would you walking around with some blonde hair on your head? What the hell wrong with you?" You know, he didn't say nothing. He didn't have a problem with it. He was cool with it, you know. But then when he started hearing me listen to Farrakhan, then he had a problem with it. I got a problem with that. What? Like, I was walking around with blonde hair and doing all this, you know, Ric Flair shit, and you ain't say nothing. Nothing. But now I'm starting to hear the white man is the devil, and I'm starting to read and learn and be like, oh shit, okay, I'm supposed to carry myself like this. I'm not supposed to be eating this. This is what a man sounds like, but boom, 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 boom. Now, oh no, I got a problem. You got to get the fuck up out of here. You can't be in this house listening to that. Like what? I don't understand.
That's some white supremacy mindset stuff.
Hey, you let me be here being other than myself. You didn't have a problem with. But when I decide to be a man, now it's an issue. What the fuck? You know, it didn't make sense to me. And that was our parting of the ways. And, you know, it's sad, but that's the reality. That's the reality. So
I'm glad you brought that up because I got something to say on it. Because I was going to ask you, I didn't know how to ask. Because I mentioned it in one of my posts as far as the blonde hair. Where did you get that from? Who? What you said the guy was? What's the guy you said you were fashioning after with the blonde hair?
Ric Flair. Ric Flair.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he was a wrestler in NWA.
Oh, now, so Farrakhan taught you how to be a man, so you think it's okay to kiss another man in the mouth?
Well, and I did a program on that a few years ago, so we're not going to get into that. But when you're looking at it and in the okay, I'll just answer it like this. No, I don't agree with that. I wouldn't do that. Okay, so that's
and he was a pedophile, or at least charged with pedophilia twice, the Catholic priest, and to engage on him. And we ain't got to talk about that either. But that's not really, in my opinion, a great example of manhood. Because I heard him. Know,
right. That's your opinion, and I can respect that. But for me, Farrakhan is the one who made me who I am. So, you know,
so
that's my example.
We'll be seeing you kiss a priest soon. Mwah.
So,
right?
You know, that's my example, and I don't change from that. That made me who I am today. And I'm thankful for his example, and I'm thankful for the teachings that he has taught me. And, you know, I will never turn my back on that one way or another. I've never did that.
I think even with that, what she's saying, if it's a person that has taught you, you take the good. You know what I'm saying? You spit out the bones. You know, the part that's good, because then nobody's perfect, but you take the part that's good. And if this is going to bless your life, then you let it bless your life. And this is what's wrong with Black people. We tend to throw out the whole the baby in the bath water, you know, because he did whatever. One little thing. I don't know the story with that, but I'm just saying, sometimes you take, you take the good and you throw out the bad. Seriously, you have to separate that. And especially our young boys, they need something. And if we can take half of it, you know, because I know a young man that's under Farrakhan, and I'm telling you, when that joker was young, you know, I grew up, you know, we grew up, well, he was one of my daughter's friends, right? And I'm telling you, I have seen the difference in this young man. So I don't know if he know about that part, but I see the difference in this young man. And I'm telling you what, thank God for Farrakhan. You know, we need more of him. And I'm not saying the kissing part or whatever. I don't know about that part, but I'm just saying from this young man, he didn't grow up with a dad, but he, you know, kind of latched on to the Muslims. And I'm telling you, it has changed his life. So I'm thankful for that, because that's my granddaughter's dad. So I'm just saying, I see the difference, and I can see the difference. And I'm not saying he's, you know, nobody's perfect, but I can see the difference in him. So my hat goes off to Farrakhan, you know, because
definitely
we need more like that. We need that in our community. We need it. And I wouldn't dare say, oh my God, no. Don't look at that part. Look at the part. Look at the good. Look at all of the young men that he's molded his who's watching up to him, who's watching him and looking up to him, and like who didn't have a father figure. We need that. So I wouldn't dare put my mouth on Farrakhan because I appreciate the good that he has done in my granddaughter's father, and some of the other young men that hang around him. These were hoodlums when they were young, but I'm telling you now. So I'm just saying.
Exactly. And just to kind of level out the playing field here, Father Flaker did get accused of child molestation twice and was proved innocent twice. When you have a man like Father Flaker, who has been on the front line for Black people and who embraces Farrakhan, even after the bishops and them tell him to leave him alone, and he still hasn't done that, so you're going to have people come out of the woodworks to say any old thing,
yeah.
but
try to tear down your character. Exactly. And we should be used to that. And we as Black people, we should be used to that because we have a young man, and I'm so afraid for him, but he's doing really good. And I'm not going to put him out there, but he's doing so good with our boys. And I'm like, God, just be, just because you look any day for something to come out on him because he's working with Black boys, and you just looking like, oh, please don't, somebody, but he's doing good. And if something did come out, it wouldn't be a surprise because anytime we are building up each other and anybody that come to want to free Black people, it's always going to be something negative said about them. Either they're going to be an agent with no proof, or they're going to be this with, or they was touching little booties or whatever. It's always going to be something negative. And we have to start understanding their tactics and knowing how they operate. And if you can prove it, bring me some proof. If not, we're going to walk past that and we're going to keep moving because I know how they operate. And we should know their tactics by now. COINTELPRO has not gone anywhere, okay? And they'll use whatever they can to make Farrakhan and to make Black men that's building up Black men look guilty, just like the young brother, the Muslim guy who he was a principal, doing an amazing job. But then white folks don't want to see that brother in that school not allowing them boys to get in trouble. You cutting in their jail money. You're cutting in the jail time, okay? And now you got Texas trying to bring in the jails to your children's schools. And y'all Black folk down there gonna allow them to continue educating your children? Are you out of your damn minds? I'm just saying. We have to get to the place where we are making a difference and embracing the positive stuff that's being done in our community because it's not a whole lot. It's just not.
So my problem with that is if you have a pedophile and maybe
But was he proven? Was he a proven pedophile?
No.
Was he proven?
No. I'm not talking about Farrakhan or nobody.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking in general. You have a pedophile or known pedophile, right? And I don't know, he come up with this great whatever. So you're suggesting that people overlook the pedophile. I guess that's an individual thing.
I think that's two different situations. You're talking about two different situations. Because this pedophile, the man that they said did whatever, there's no proof. Now you're talking about one. Is there proof that he's a pedophile for one? Is there proof that?
Yes.
Okay. If there's a proof that he's a pedophile, then that's just common knowledge that okay, did he go and pay his dues? Okay, he paid his dues. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna let my son spend the night. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna let my son.
But whatever he got going on, good. That's good to follow, to stand by, to promote. We're not talking about Farrakhan.
Okay, he's with the jail. He paid for that crime, right? Do you believe that people can be redeemed? I mean,
hell no. When you touching little kids, hell no.
Okay,
there's something really messed up in your psyche to ever do that, and to suggest.
Okay, is he getting? I mean, we got to look at. Let's break that one down. Come on, let's break that one down. Let's break it down. Okay, we have too many of our Black men going to jail for crazy stuff. Okay, whether they did it or didn't, and some do, and some have not. You went to jail for 10, 15 years. Okay, hopefully you got the counseling you did. And if you're telling me that the guy got no help, then that's different. But if you're telling me that he got help and he's getting help and he's doing help, I'm not going to allow him around my children. But if he's doing some good in the community, I mean, Do we make mistakes or not? I mean, how do we handle that? Do we just throw the bath out with the baby? Do we throw the whole thing out? Or we're not talking about you still allowing him to come around your kids. But if he has something, a positive speech or some positive mentorship or a book or something that's positive that's going to help somebody's child, then you don't read the book to your child because he was a pedophile back 10, 20 years ago. I mean, let's break that down, though.
Knowing nothing about him in no way looking at me saying that's a good man. He made a mistake playing with the little boys, but he's a great man today.
We're not saying that, but if he has a great, say for instance, if he wrote a book that's going to help
there'll be another book, a straight man writing it.
But listen. Okay, you have to understand. Let's take it deeper. Let's go deeper. You looking at the superficial, and maybe I'm wrong. Y'all help me out, man, because maybe I'm wrong. But I just
pedophile supporters in the comments.
Do we have a what?
Car engines ain't working. Let's go ahead.
Okay. I'm
serious. I don't play about the kids, and I don't play about nobody.
I don't either. I'm gonna tell you what, I don't either. But I want to tell you how I really feel about them. I do believe, and I'm gonna be honest, you guys. I do believe that if you're caught messing with a little boy, I think you need to lose your life. I'm just saying, if you mess with our children, and this is biblical, okay? I'm just saying this is biblical. You need to be put. And I don't condone violence. I want to put that out there for YouTube, okay? I don't condone violence. I'm not telling you to go out and do anything. I'm just saying biblically, I do believe that you need to be deleted, okay? Right. So you guys take it as you want, okay? So now we don't have to worry about that. But I do believe that, it's certain crimes that we commit, but it has to be proven because I know how the open enemy does among Black people. But if this is a proven crime, I do believe that we need to go back to the biblical way of handling things, and that person won't be alive anymore. They'll be dealt with. How about that? In the jungles. I'm just saying, you leave them in the jungles and move forward. Okay, so we're not even that right there. I understand what you're saying, and I hear the hurt. And I hate so many women and boys have gone through this. But right now, I'm just saying, if it is something that's caught, I do believe that our men and needs to take care of that. That needs to be something taken care of. Seriously.
Yes.
So I believe
say that instead of go buy a book. That's what I'm saying.
But I understand that, and but my thing is, he won't have a book because he won't be,
Thank you. That's how
okay. You understand what I'm saying, girl, Maurice? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, because I actually.
Okay, but I'm just saying right now. Because we are not doing our part, okay, as a Black community. We just allow anything and everything in our community, okay? So, and we just don't do what we're supposed to do, So you do have pedophiles, and you do have rapists in the midst, and you do have people like that young man that's in the midst that should be dealt with, and I do believe that they all need to be dealt with. That young brother needs to be handled by our grown men here on the panel that should take that brother out to the back and have. We're going to talk. We're going to have some counseling. Doc, you can counsel them. The manhood rate, we're going to counsel him, give him some counseling, and then we're going to go from there. But we're going to make sure that he's doing what he needs to do, and we're going to fix the problem. And that's not what we're doing. Black people, we're not fixing what we see broken in our community. We look past it, and we continue allowing it to be broken. So we have women that are dealing with stuff, and you're looking at these people, and they're functioning, and they're there, and they're doing, you know what I'm saying? So I understand, sis, what you're going through. I do. But I don't believe that they need to be and if I'm wrong, that's how I feel. When you, like you said, when you talk about my babies, and when you're talking about rapists, and because I deal with the foundation, I deal with a lot of men that have been in jail, and I just don't deal with certain men. I don't deal with the pedophiles. I don't deal with the rapists. I do not, and because I don't want to be around that. I don't want to put myself in danger by being around that. So I kind of handle the ones, and they are in the transition home, and I'm talking to the owners and the people that work there. So they're bringing me the ones that are ready for change, and the ones that they know that's bull crapping around, they won't even bring them my way. But if one happened to get in the way or through the court or through the cracks, then that'll be dealt with also. But I try not to put myself in predicaments like that, but definitely. And I hear the pain. I do understand.
And it's very interesting because I did receive communication last week from a brother who just got out of jail. He was in there for pedophilia, but he said that he was listening to our programs for years. He wished that he would have gotten involved more instead of just listening, because it could have helped him to stay away from that. And he asked for membership in B1, and I had to turn him down because we just don't condone that. It can't be.
Sorry.
No.
And that's really what we should do, even in community, but I think that's where our men, our older gentlemen, elders come in at, and you guys, handle that. And I do believe that that's how you keep us women safe, by you guys being on the front line and knowing that we're in the groups together, having him around would cause some problems. And that's a good way of keeping us safe. And we appreciate that, Brother Maurice. Appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I know you try to help when you can. I know that. Exactly. But I don't agree with that.
Yep. Okay, we're gonna go to our next video. All right, this one right here.
No, I'm dead ass. And I hope you're ready to go to fuck to jail because I called your fucking PO.
You called what?
Yes, because why would you not come home last night?
You called my parole
officer. But yeah, because why would you not come home last night?
You got paid to call my parole
yes,
officer?
you finna be out here. You think you're gonna be out here with all these other females and all this? No, you finna be right locked the fuck up. Yeah, get your shit. Get your shit. No, exactly. You're supposed to be like this, right? And you want to be out all night. I didn't hear from you all last night. No, yeah. I don't know grown man with a woman at home spend the whole night out without contacting a woman. Yes. Oh yeah, you gone for real. You definitely gone. Yeah, get your stuff. Cause you definitely gone. I called them. They finna come. I don't care. You bogus as a bitch. Fuck you. Where the fuck you been at?
Come on, stop this bullshit.
No, I'm dead ass. And I hope you're ready to go to fuck to jail because I called your fucking PO.
You called what?
Yes, because why would you not come home last night?
You called my parole officer.
But yeah, because why would you not come home last night?
You got paid to call my parole
yes,
officer.
you finna be out here. You think you're gonna be out here with all these other females and all this? No, you finna be right locked the fuck up. Yeah, get your shit. Get your shit. No, exactly. You're supposed to be like this, right? And you want to be out all night. I didn't hear from you all last night. No, yeah. I don't know grown man with a woman at home spend the whole night out without contacting a woman. Yes. Cause yeah, you gone. Oh yeah, you gone for real. You definitely gone. Yeah, get your stuff. Cause you definitely gone. I called them. They finna come. I don't care. You bogus as a bitch. Fuck you. Where the fuck you been at?
All right, so there you is. Bro didn't come home last night. Next thing you know, sister called the parole officer on him.
No.
And, he's upset. He's piping hot. But what say you, Doc?
Oh, Lord. That's all I can say. I mean, the punishment gotta fit the crime. That's excessive. That's like execution for running a stop sign. That there's something wrong up in her head to have done that. I get it, I understand, but that's what Huey P. Newton would refer to as as L7 love, a square's love. That if you ain't gonna be with me, then you ain't gonna be with nobody. She didn't burn the kingdom completely down. But before I stop, I want to say this about the last video. Do you not find it strange that he knew that they were related and she didn't? And how does that happen? I had a conversation, and I'm from a very small town, about 50,000 people. And I had a conversation with one of the brothers, at a barbershop. And he says quite simply that Black women need to stop not naming their daughters after their fathers. Just because you're not together, she should still carry his name. And I didn't really follow him in what he was saying until he explained it further. And he said, listen, if her name is Jenkins, but she is, her father is a Williams, you need to put Williams on there so that everybody knows who her people are. You know who her mother is. Now you need to identify who her father is. Because if you don't, you're going to have cousins getting with cousins and truly never knowing what's going on. But in regards to this last video, she better hope they get there quick, because he may very well kill that girl. Behind calling her, that's excessive. That's excessive. That was wrong, solely because he didn't come home. That's wrong. That brother's going to be, if he is allowed to remain out and he's with her, he's just going to be in a different kind of prison, because there's something wrong with her went to that length.
And so, Doc, by our definition that we came up earlier with today, the 3 parts: provider, protector, and spiritual head, he would not be considered a man, correct?
No, I didn't. Once again, I take issue with that, saying he's not a man. I would say he's not a husband. He's not capable of being a husband. He's missing some key components of being a husband to be the spiritual head of a household. He can't do that. He's not in a financial position to be a provider either. That's a brother right there that's struggling and needs in every way a life coach that can help him solve and learn some of the things that he didn't learn during his adolescence and his maturation process.
See, the way I look at it, Doc, is like he's a male, but he ain't a man.
Yes.
He's a male, but he's not
a male. He's a male. Yeah, there's a lot that goes along with calling someone a man. Mm-hmm. Biologically, he is a male, but he's not quite an adult male, which would make him a man. And those are that's not even splitting hairs. That's just really what it is. And we have a lot of females who are adult females, but they're not capable. They're not women, and that's a problem right there, because unfortunately within our community, we're finding these 2 populations finding each other, coupling up, producing children. And unfortunately, what we just saw in this recent snippet is indicative of what they're producing within our community. And as Sister Cassie knows so well, I feel no compulsion to help that segment of our community. Okay, they got to go for what they know. So God gave the world and Black America Cassie, because she gonna grab them and she gonna raise them up. And I yield.
Thank you, Doc.
Hold on.
Okay.
Doc, what'd you say? Hold on. You know what, Doc? You all right, though.
Grab them and put them right in your bosom and try and nurture them and nurse them back to, usher them into some adulthood.
Sister Diamond, what say you?
Well, like you had said, male and not man. So just like, males has a growing process. So we already know that males generally, pluck every duck out there, but first she didn't even ask him where he was. She didn't already sentence him, didn't already, like you said, been called or whomever. So he didn't even, if it was not what she thought, he was not even given an opportunity to say, hey, because someone asked, was he out trying to find a job? Is that what he was doing? Whatever. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't given an opportunity. And as women, when you come across a man like that that's still playing the field, as we say, then you're stepping into that. So you should be expecting that. And to feel that you're just above the rest and he's just not going to do it to you, that's some maturity that you have to, as a woman, grow into. But so he's just, if he was out with another woman, I don't think that's cause for you, any woman, to sentence him like that, especially with the police or whatever. I would have just left him. Cut. That's it. That's it. As women, anybody looking, that's what we do. We don't run and we don't call the police and we don't get the brother locked all up when he hasn't physically harmed you. That's when I call him. If you're, if you're a felon and you can't have not supposed to have a gun and can't blow his head off. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't down him. You know what I'm saying? I don't talk bad about him. He's just in that stage of life. If, again, that's what he did. We never got to find out. It could have been somebody he knew, a friend in the hospital, whatever, got shot and he out, and she, so no, I just say that that's his phase, if that's what happened. And her reaction was not necessary. And like Doc was saying, as far as, these type of women, I think that once they understand the nature of their behavior and what that behavior can actually literally cause, and they understand how that is a problem and how, given other ways to handle a situation like that, if your man cheats or whatever the case may be, how to stand above it, in dignity or what have you, and just walk away. And so I would agree, Doc saying that Carissa, she's the person. I would, if they're a young girl, I would definitely try to redirect their thinking and give them a better understanding. And y'all men deal with the guys who likes to still play the field.
Surprising, Sister Diamond, you would have mercy.
Oh, I'm not a man hater. I told you that. I still have belief. There's certain things. A man messing with a child, a man that is gay, or a man putting his hands on me, I don't play those things. So specifically, even my second husband, I talked about him putting his hands on me. I don't wish him bad at all. I don't have it. You'll never hear me talk about that. No, you know what I'm saying? Because he had 90% of good about him, even though he wasn't able to be a provider or what have you. And those times weren't, like I said, oh, you got the tomato wrong, boom. He probably would have got killed if it was some stuff like that. But no, I don't have anything bad to say about it. But you mess with the kids, you're gonna hear everything and possibly worse if it's in my capability. But other than that, no, there's no. I don't have anything bad about any man, really, except one.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Sister Diamond. Sister Cassie, what say you?
Wow, that video right there. For one, she's vindictive. And I'm sure, like I'm going to always say, I'm sure he knew what he was getting when he got with her, right? Mm-hmm. We have to, those are conversations and those are understandings that, and that's dating. Why you're dating, this, this is the communication that we're supposed to have. We don't do this or what, in a relationship, this is the getting to know part, okay? So when you get to that point, where does that conversation go? He stayed out. Okay, we talked about that. So obviously this is not where you need to be or where you want to be. And you can go back to where you were and we're done. Seriously. It's about communication in the beginning before it gets to that point. And when it gets to that point, that means that this is not where you want to be. But we have to understand that us as men and women, we've dropped older groups, we've dropped the ball because God told us, okay, we're supposed to lead and guide the young, right? We're supposed to be mentoring our young boys. We're supposed to be mentoring our young women, right? We're not doing that. We got guys looking at these young boys like, oh, I'm trying to mentor them, but why are they acting like that? Somebody didn't do their part. So when do we jump in there and say, come here, baby? And I'm going to tell you what, these young brothers, if they know you care, they'll listen. These young women, if they know you care, they'll listen. Now you're going to have something that's disrespectful. Okay, those are not they're not ready. Okay, that's cool. You can stand over there and have a good day. And those are not some that, because, you could say certain things and some of these young girls will cuss you out, but the ones that have a heart and you have a heart for, that you can mentor to, minister to, mention to, or just be a mentor to. Okay. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. So why aren't we doing it? Do you understand what I'm saying? He needs a positive, and I don't know if he'll do it now, but when you see them seniors and juniors and middle school and high school, that's when these mentors, they need to be mentored. Have these men groups where you can come in and tell them how to be husbands and how to be men and how to be providers and protectors. And, they don't know. They have no clue how to provide and protect, because a lot of these young boys have seen their moms being the provider. They haven't seen their dads being provider. So this is why we see a lot of boys that's not men, and they're not providing anything but a piece of body part. You know what I'm saying? Because who taught them? We want them to be husbands. Well, who taught them? Their dad wasn't there. Who taught them how? The pastor didn't. Because they ain't talking about no husband, no black families, nothing. They talking about getting theirs, right? Exactly. Now, if you in the Muslims, okay, they're talking about it. But a lot of folk ain't talking about the young boys and being dads and fathers and providers and protectors. And so they don't know. They going by uncle who was so dysfunctional that slept with anything and everything. Cousins, brothers, sisters, he's the dogs, whoever. And the young brother learned it from them. Okay, so we want them to do what? When nobody's talking to them. We know what to do. And we need to have those mentorship programs. That's why I have one in the Ram in the Bush. We have that. I want to reach out to the young girls. I want men that want to go into some of these schools, and mentor to these young brothers. Because right now, our boys need our men bad. It's at a 911, fellas, that we create something for our boys. This is why we have to start educating. We need male teachers. We need male mentors. We need these men in these schools. They need you guys so bad. It's just ridiculous, because it's sad. They don't even know how to be boys. They don't even walk like boys anymore. I see a bunch of boys walking like girls. I have to look at them to see are they a boy or girl. You look from the back, and they built like girls and they walk like girls. You'd be like, what in the world? Look to the front and they boys. What in the heck? Why your booty bigger than? You know what I'm saying? What is going on here? So we got to stop. We got to come back together and teach our babies. This is what we're supposed to do. We act just like white folk because that's who we've been around. And we treat our babies the way they treat us. So do we love our babies? I rest my mic.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, team, we are at our 2-hour mark tonight. I have to go because I got a program to be at. Or guess what? Y'all have to come and get me down from being crucified if I don't get out of here on time. So we're gonna do our closing comments, and we'll have to come back next week for part 2 because I have more content that I want us to go over and to get more in depth in these roles. But tonight, in your closing comments, we didn't do this last week. Can you define what a woman is? In your closing comment, define what a woman is. And I'll just leave that like that, and then you can add whatever else to your closing comments. But start off with, what is a woman? And Doc, we'll go ahead and start with you.
An adult, biological female. That's a woman. Period. And I yield. Love you all.
Thanks, Doc. Love you too. Sister Diamond?
A woman is life, the giver of life. A woman is a nurturer, and a woman is mother, a woman is wife. A woman is female, like Doc said, biologically, for those out there confused. For those out there confused, a woman is biological female, as he said. And there's many characteristics to a woman. A woman is a person that can be accountable and can learn. If she doesn't know, a woman should have a desire to be the best woman that she can be. Anything else, I don't know what these females are out here, but a woman is not that. Let's put it like that. A woman is not that. And she just strives to be better for her family. And she's a wife.
All right. Thank you, Sister Diamond. Sister Cassie?
Wow, that's a good question, huh? Some people don't even know. They don't have an idea. But a woman to me is, it's always a person that's going to help. I don't want to say hold the family together. She's there to help hold the family together. She has an amazing husband and she's going to help. She's the helpmate. That's what God called us, right? Let's go there. She's the helper. She's not the one that's going to do everything. Okay, that's not her job. Her job is to assist her husband, okay, and say her baby daddy, her husband, okay, with the family. She is there to nurture her babies. She's there to teach her son and show him what kind of woman he wants in the future, okay? She's teaching her son. You know, she's showing her son. She's there to help him to choose the right woman in the future, okay? Because usually he's going to get what his mom, okay? Because this is the only woman he knows. So that is pretty much who he's going to attract himself to, okay? And for the daughter, she is there to teach and nurture her daughter into being the woman that she needs to be, the mother that she needs to be for her children. Because who I am, and I'm showing it to my daughters, that's who they'll be, okay? So a woman's job is never ending. It's huge. We have a lot of different parts. We are social workers. We are therapists. We are huggers, holders. We can break or make a family. I mean, come on. We have a lot of power with them little babies, and we have a lot of power. And our men don't know it, but we have a lot of power right in. Okay, it can go either way you want it to go, women. And women, we as women have to understand that if your house is going to survive, it's going to take two. It's going to take you and your king to make this thing work. You can't sit up there and tell me I'm a woman, I don't need a man, and you got a healthy household. You don't. You're dysfunctional, and your house is too. And that's why your son is switching around here. And that's why your girls like it, your daughters like it, girls. You understand what I'm saying? It's dysfunction. So dysfunction breeds dysfunction. And let me help these men that's sitting up here trying to be females. That's a whole man with a penis and look and got dressed up like a woman. You will never be a real woman. You can never be a woman. You will never take a woman's place. You can never take a woman's place, okay? Long as you have male body parts, you can dress up a pig, but you still gonna be a man. You can put on lipstick all day long. You can cut that thing off. You still a man, plain and simple. You will never be a woman. You will never be what they call them something. I don't even know what they call them, but it doesn't matter because you'll never be me. Mm-hmm. A real woman has babies. And we don't have inseminations, and you know what I'm saying, and we can give birth out. You have to break this thing down because some of these men acting crazy. I seen a whole man trying to, head the baby up to his breast, telling he breastfeed. What the hell you doing?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I saw that and I'm like, what's going on here? Let me help you. You don't have chookies? And come on. I need to break this thing down so they understand. You will never be a real woman. You can't take my place, sir. You can never take my place. You can talk all that noise you want to. You can't have no babies naturally. Or if you don't have male or female body parts, you are what God made you. Sorry. So I rest my case.
Can I say one thing, Maurice?
Go ahead, Sister Diamond. One thing.
Okay, you were saying how now I'm understanding because I'm seeing it in reality as far as how the slave masters and things in those days had incorporated all this. They are today incorporating it again. They're making all that we see. You're right. So I had to look at it both ways. But yes, it started with them doing the things, and they're doing it again today.
They always rewrapping stuff. They
Yeah.
rewrapping the whole, like, remember in the one more, and I'm sorry, just like they rewrapping the 70s thing when they took the jobs from our men, they're doing the same thing right now. We have noticed that Black men aren't working. They're not working. What are they doing? They'll get your job at what, making $8 at Family Dollar, AutoZone. I'm just saying. But they're doing the same thing. They're rewrapping this thing. And if we don't understand our history, this is why we're seeing what we're seeing now. Thank you, Brother Maurice. Thank you, chat. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. And we thank our audience again. And I thank everybody on our panel for another good program. And I can't wait for next week to hurry up so we can get to part 2. And, for my closing comments, I agree with everybody said about what it is to be a woman. And there will never be a man that could ever take the place of a woman. You can just forget it. It's just not going to work that way. And brothers, let's remember, just because you are male does not make you a man. You are male because that comes to be a matter of birth. But you're a man because that's a matter of choice. This is what we choose to do. And so let us never get that mixed up on what we choose to do. Don't you ever let these goddamn fake Jews punk you out and push you before the world to say, I apologize, I this, when you know damn well you told the truth. Be a man and stand on what you got to say.
Amen.
That's the time and day that it must be. We got to understand, as we always say, you kill the nigga in you, I'm going to kill the nigga in me, and our God will reign supreme. We are Black first. Today, tomorrow, and forever. Love you, family. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom.
Peace. Guys. Thank you, guys.